which basically effectively takes that shot out of your repertoire. He's going to have to not use that off-pace shot. He's going to have to be very careful with it. So right now, I don't see any specific game plan yet from Hagman and Murphy. You know, there's that off-pace drive to Lofgren. You can hit it to him because he does not have the cut finisher.
Correct. Different height lobs, different places, just really trying to keep the net players uneasy and guessing. This is a great way to find offense from the baseline or make your net team uneasy, especially when you don't have those big weapons that we're talking about.
It's a good point here. Just misses that off-pace drive. I mean, it's almost like they're just giving a lot of body shots, right? Draw them in, push them back, draw them in. None of the shots are really designed to do any damage. You know, he's not spotting them off the hip and hitting with extra pace or spin. Just keep moving them up and back, up and back. But so far, so good for Lofgren and Bakker, able to handle the test.
And you saw over there, Bakker was doing his underhand or sidearm serve to the deuce court and his overhead kick serve to the ad court. That's often a way that players are doing it now, because it's for a right-handed player, the more natural side is the deuce side to hit that underhand or sidearm serve to. So a lot of players are doing more of that hybrid as well.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to see more and more of that, Mark.
2-1.
Because the righty can hit a heavy kick serve that jams the player into the ad court, but cannot do it nearly as effectively on the deuce court.
Absolutely. You see Murphy, when it does go there, he just takes it off the screen and drives it back at you. Awesome forehand. Smart play, the Hagman hanging back.
And smart play from Murphy for letting that ball go through to his partner. A lot of players would reach at that volley instead of trusting their partner to cover for him.
Have they been playing together for a while?
I don't know, actually. I know they're, you know, in the same type of area, so I would assume so. But as a partnership, so much. I mean, last year, Baxter played with Murphy for most of the year. And I believe the last time I saw Hagman play, he was actually playing with Will Lofgren. I saw them play in Indianapolis against Schwab and Hintz from the Denver area.
Shout out to them out in Denver. Awesome paddle crew out there.
Oh, he overjumped the route. I'm surprised he got so aggressive there, because it's not like Hagman's been really ripping the ball by him. Just stay in your position, hold that spot.
Yeah, you don't have to get quite as close. I know he's trying to be aggressive like earlier, but don't have to be moving still and jumping around. That's when you tend to miss. But has such great variety on the overheads.
Yeah, he sort of holds it and sort of moves it one way or the other. He puts not a ton of spin, but subtle spin here and there. He holds his racket. Last second, he flips it one place or another.
And that sneaky one into the deuce court, that can be a way, especially if you don't have a big, you know, finishing cut shot, that you can hurt players. especially when you're picking more on that ad court and that deuce player slides over. Slide it into their corner sneakily. Can be very effective.
That's good lob there from Hagman. This is the cutoff backhand.
He sees the court so well, but with his game style, you have to have either him or his partner has to be able to follow some of those sort of dinking lower balls in. That's when you're hitting that good lob, you got to be able to blitz a little bit.
And that was a good look, and he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So.
There's that sneaky one into the deuce court.
Bacher Lofgren lead the first set, 3-2.
So far, so good for all teams. They're still feeling each other out. I think we're getting a good sense of where we're going to see this match go now.
Absolutely. They've been, I think everyone knows what the other team's going to do at this stage, and now it's about who can execute, who can be disciplined.
That's exactly it. So far, what we've seen is just some missed shots here and there.
And that's the interesting thing about paddle for the most part, right, Brad? It's not there's never many surprises that people do things you don't know about, but it's who can be disciplined and who can execute.
And there was the blitz look that you're looking for, Mark.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be off that one, but I like him just having someone has to go forward off his style of play. Keep closing. Ah!
See, I agree with you 100% there, Mark. In that situation, when you get the ball down at all, you just get right on top of the net and you finish the point downward, or you lob volley and you get out of there.
Absolutely. Steve DeRose was such a master at that lob volley and retreat. Good pressure.
Just out, taking a ball from underneath the net. Not that easy to do.
I like how Hagman's starting to move forward a little bit, though. I think it's definitely how he can start putting pressure. It's not realistic for him to hit a lot harder and hit through them.
No, he's got to rely on, getting them off the net, keeping it down, quick moves, but he's not going to blast it through them.
Oh!
There's just another open miss. Yeah.
He had the court how he wanted.
Oh, Bacher tried to tag him with it, but he was backing away. Spreads it wide.
Tricky to do that cutter on a harder shot. Hagman has some great deception. That's what he really needs to double down and use. Oh, you went around the net.
He's trying for the around the net post.
I applaud the effort.
They lead the first set 4-2. And that's a ball change.
All right, so they change every 7 games, and they include the warm-up as 1 game. So they do a quick ball change here. All right, so it's 4-2 for Backer and Lofgren.
Who's in our umpire chair?
That
Wow.
is Mike Wilkins in the umpire chair. Great hands there.
Absolutely.
And Tom Murphy, he's got pretty good hands. He's got a good volley.
Clearly.
2-0.
Oh, great dig.
Wow. Smart play.
Yep. He knows he's not going to get into net before Tom Murphy is, so he holds it, flips up the lob. Still able to take the net by getting it over him.
Oh,
Understand why he continues hitting those off-pace drives. He's got to learn his lesson.
or at least go to Will.
Yeah.
Lofgren doesn't have that same shot that Barker's. That's what's the? I'm gonna count these. That's number 3 right now.
I think it's 3.
Okay, I'm keeping count.
2-2.
Oh, that was
Did you have any
just on
finishing
the
shots?
outside of the line.
Any finishing shots, Brad, at net
You
that
know,
you liked?
I had a drop shot that I would use back in the day, quite frankly, when I was playing. You know, we didn't really do them so much. They were just becoming something to, that was starting to happen.
Sure.
Back in that time. So it was more about just playing the solid point. I did have a finishing drop that I would use, and that could be effective at times. But it's such an integral part of the game right now that it's no surprise that a lot of the top teams have finishing shots, or at least a player who can finish.
Absolutely.
Pressuring overhead with a spin, a pressure overhead with a spin is definitely a level separator. I mean, you look at all the top teams, Hughes Power, Durant Mitchell, Raya Parsons,
Chervinsky McNerney.
They all have spin overheads, or someone does to some degree, where they can apply a certain degree of pressure and end a point on a bad lob.
Can we say Broderick Bostrom as a top team?
Absolutely.
There we go.
You sure can. I mean, we can make that list longer. You could use Doya and, Burrish. I mean, there's certainly a lot of tough teams out there.
Colmar has some great overheads as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can make the list longer.
For sure.
We're talking about the list. We're going all the way up to top 10, and every single team in that top 10. Somebody, the Rose brothers. Paul Rose got a sneaky little cutter there.
And I think what makes those shots so good, right, is that the baseline team has to come forward now. The court has just become so much bigger. It's not just that they can win the point right there. At least he went to Will that time. That was smarter.
Attempt, but there you see, Lofgren doesn't have it, right? He doesn't own it. He might make it. There's a difference between making it here and there and owning it,
I like that. Whew. Would you say he owns that shot?
Murphy. Bacher Lofgren. First set, 4-3.
I would say he definitely owns that shot. I was just waiting for umpire Mike Wilkins to finish, doing a great job up there in the chair. All right, we'll see if Hagman and Murphy can play that type of game. So far, they haven't, done enough damage with the return, and in the middle of the point, they're just not executing their off-pace drives enough and haven't found a way to break down the net team yet with the certain lob placements. I'd like to see him keep Backer off the net, although he's doing a good job moving his overheads around. he's not crashing back in. If they can get him off the net and then take a strike down at the feet.
Okay.
These type of matches where neither of the teams has big offense at the net or that finishing shot, like you said, a lot of it comes down to who can win points on the returns.
Is it on?
Right, and like I said, they're not getting a ton of return winners at this point yet, and this weather can't be helping it, although foot fault called. Oh. Now the players get warned beforehand.
0-1.
So he must have had a warning already?
Yeah, they're all pre-warned, and they know right ahead. Foot faults will just be called right away. And, kudos to the umpire. If he sees a foot fault, he's got to call it. See, that's a good placement drive.
0-2.
All right, so here, first chances. Good start here for Hagman and Murphy to get the break.
That snow seems to be coming down now.
It's coming down. That court's got to be wet. The ball's got to be picking up moisture. It's got to be changing. We haven't seen anything sort of like hydroplane at this stage, but there's got to be some changes. These conditions have got to be affecting it. And you see Murphy now sitting very aggressive with his position. He's standing in the middle of the court, right on the line. He's starting to look to pressure the team, squeeze the spots they can hit it, but beautifully done by Barker, putting it behind him both times.
Keep him honest, yep.
It's a good spot from Hagman on that drive.
There's good play, though.
Yep. Oh, and he tries to
Took a little risk.
Cutter off the deck, which you get double the spin on, but completely misplays it, and that is the break.
Hagman Murphy. First set.
There we go. A little bit of a loose game, and they're back in it.
It's an interesting thing. I don't think it had any effect, but something like a simple foot fault call sort of derails the engine a little,
Oh, I think it had a 2-point effect.
0-2.
Yeah.
I think it frustrates you for maybe 2 points, and then Barker, I'm sure, got over it. But it definitely made a little effect. But this is not helping.
Fault on a fault. There we go.
Does that count as double?
Yeah, double fault, a foot fault with the fault. And there you see now, that right there, those 3 faults in a row from Murphy have got to be due to him trying to spin the ball when it's a wet ball. He's going to have to start hitting a flatter ball coming right through there. And that was, they just get that great break back, and they give it back with 3 faults in a row.
Lead the first set 5 games to 4.
That's tough. But it is when that ball gets wet and slick, as you were saying, it just doesn't catch quite as easily on the spin serve.
Not at all. You have to flatten the serve out. You have to flatten your drives out. In fact, a lot of things. You have to concentrate on occasionally getting the screen every now and then. You could see, actually, Murphy there rubbing his paddle against his leg. And since it's some snow, too, we got to worry now. The secondary thing you got to worry about, the temperature's obviously close to freezing, right? So you got the water on the ball. Every time you hit it, the water's getting on your paddle. And if it's close to freezing,
1-0.
you could end up with the paddle. Add 1 to your count there. Another drop cut winner from
+1. Here we go.
Right, because, again, Hagman hitting that shot right to him while he's standing there waiting for it. You cannot play that off-pace volley to a guy with that shot. Off-pace drive.
I would think this weather definitely would, if it gets slick, would definitely favor Barker and Lofgren, especially with their sort of overheads.
2-0.
I mean, yes, Hagman hits a flat ball, which is good for this type of weather, but, it's going to be harder to do that kind of dink and duck thing. Well, you got plenty of spin on that one.
3-0.
All right, so 3 set points here.
There we see Hagman going for some more spin as it's slick out.
Three, 1.
So just do a quick review of all the players on the court. This Will Lofgren serving in the blue. His partner Rob Backer. Text coming in. Another quick introduction to our players.
3, 2.
Backed off that one. So, couple back here. And then returning now is Brian Hagman in the blue cap.
And his partner is Tom Murphy.
Yep, in the deuce court to the
The
bottom
crew
right
from
of our
Indiana.
This is a big point. You know, you got to recognize these things. A lot of the top teams also tighten up their play in these moments. Make sure they're not going to make an error. Make the other team beat them on this big moment. He's going to go for a bigger drive here. Nice play from
Smart.
Lofgren, staying back there. Smart play.
He recognizes they were going to drive. It's going to be a tough volley. Really smart play by Lofgren. That's a tough volley by Lofgren.
And one of the great things about all these tournaments is, you know, a lot of the regional flavors. It's an unfortunate thing in the COVID world, and kudos to the APDA for doing such a great job at scheduling the tournaments the way they are and dealing with the whole COVID crisis. But, you know, Rob Backer is kind of he's a legend out here. He went to college out here, you know, at Xavier University. Was the director of Racket Sports, Argo Club, and,
Game
you know, just.
And first set to Bacher Lofgren.
So game
Not
to the
now,
hometown
but,
favorite.
Couple of games.
You know,
There'll be a 2-minute
Rob
break
Bacher will
between
offer.
sets.
Sure, other companies make platform tennis balls. Viking make the #1 ball in the game. The player's clear choice, the Viking ball. Extra duty advanced flocking process promotes proven, longer wear and provides the perfect texture for maximum ball spin and control. High-end proprietary rubber compound allows for the softest feel and most consistent bounce. The official ball of the National Championships, the official ball of the Grand Prix Series, Viking.
All right, we should also mention here, we're going to be coming back to our second set in a moment here. You hear the umpire on the scoreboard saying
no,
1-0.
This one will be
2-0 or 3-0 when he's
4,
scoring, calling out the score.
after the third
The
game.
early round matches are playing no ad scoring. So what that means, we didn't have a no ad game, but what that means is instead of when the players reach deuce, you know, which are typically 3 points all or 3 points all, the next point wins the game. And the receiving team gets to choose who receives. So it didn't factor in at all, Mark, in our first set, but it's probably going to factor in a bunch of these matches out here, because when you play a no ad format, you know, that point at 3-all is the crucial game. It's the game point. You don't get back to deuce, so the back and forth is gone.
Hold up for a minute, please, gentlemen. We're still I'm waiting for the
Absolutely,
sign.
and that point
Waiting.
is a pressure point.
Okay.
All right, so you see there Brian Hagman. So what do you think about the first set
All right.
there, Mark? Brian
Ready?
Hagman to serve the second.
Play. Ready?
I think it was a good first set.
Okay.
There were a
Play.
bunch of errors from both teams. You know, they were at 4-all, and then those 3 faults came into play. So I'll be excited to see what what they do in this set over here. If they can just tighten up for both teams, and you know, probably the one strategic thing that Hagman and Murphy need to do is definitely not give Barker the off-pace drive. His winner counts at 4 right now, but besides that, nothing majorly strategic. It's just tighten up on the errors.
Yeah, tighten up on the errors, and I'd like to see, you know, it's great to be playing your style and your game, you know, and using the off-pace drive and the other ball, but every now and then you got to put some fear or threat into your shots, you know, like there's a bigger ball, right? You know, like there has to be a little bit of change. There's a little change of pace, you know what I mean? Like, so they're changing up a little bit. You can see Backer and Lofgren to dial up the forehand to another notch. What a shot there from Murphy. And Backer respects that, gives him the paddle touch there as a measure of respect, so great job.
No, I agree completely, especially you have Murphy who has such good hands, so you can probably be a little bit more risky and change the tempo a little bit. The moment your opponents are so comfortable with your pace, then they're also in a good place. So you might not be missing, but they're not going to either.
Murphy getting more active at the net there.
Oh,
3-2.
He tried to get out of the way, but Hagman just got caught by that one.
Yep.
Hagman and Murphy definitely coming out more aggressive.
Well, certainly more active at the net. I mean, you know, they're the net team here, but you can see them changing the pace, getting a little more action working there, which is great. I think they're going to need to do that a little bit. Because, you know, if Backer has a weakness, it would be movement, right?
Absolutely.
You know, he's got the, you know, reconstructed hips, and you lay the ball into his forehand, he can hit it as well as anyone in the game still. You put the ball right to him so he can hit a backhand cutter, he's going to hurt you.
Game, Hagman, Murphy.
Great sneaky shot into that deuce corner.
They lead the second set, 1-0. Bacher Lofgren won the first set, 6-4. All
right, so good start from Hagman and Murphy. I think that's a good way to get going for them. I think they needed a good start in the second set.
Absolutely.
See, I like that play in the sense like he had Backer off the net, and I think that's going to be one of the keys. You keep Backer off the net.
Yes, and keep them uneasy. Make them, you know, if you're the net oh. He got it, but either way, that's going to hurt your team.
Yep, great job from Murphy to chase that one down, though. And the only reason he got it is because they had Backer off the net a little bit more that time. That's a good third panel smash there from Rob Backer, where you hit it hard to the third panel to drive the guy around.
1-0.
Uncharacteristic miss there by Hagman.
He kind of flapped at it, didn't really use his feet, get down underneath the ball. There we go. There's a little combo. Great play from Lofgren. Very close to touching the net. Oh! I don't think it went over. I don't think Murphy touched that one.
It didn't.
Yeah. All right. And just so we're clear for everybody, I was mentioning the no-ad scoring before. Our scoring still reflects just the regular tennis scoring. So, you know, it'll say 30-15 up there, but it's only going to really come into play if it gets to deuce or 3 points all. You know, and then it's going to be a sudden death point. Ooh. I was about to say, Mark, that I saw the flakes had disappeared a little, but they're still coming.
They're sneaking in there. Hagman putting a little bit of pressure. He's putting that ball low, making some moves forward, just trying to make
2-2.
Lofgren uneasy.
2-3.